What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Buckeyes Battle Cry. We go live every Thursday here at 8:30. If you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. We appreciate you having you here. It was an exciting first week of college football. We wrapped it up on a video on the show earlier this week, and hope you guys tuned into that one because it was a banger, an hour-long content breaking down all the first weekend of college football. And now we got week two right around the corner, Rob. My goodness gracious. Not as many delicious matchups this week, but certainly one right up the road. And I will be down at game day and Big Noon Kickoff doing a little vlog for the channel this weekend. But yeah, man, how you feeling about week two?
Man, I've been, man, this Michigan versus Texas game. There's it's early in the season, 3 versus 10. It's out of conference, so it doesn't affect who goes to the Big Ten title game or who goes to the SEC title game. So they're safe from that, but it could go against them when it comes time for the college football playoff. I mean, you don't want to get a loss this early in the season. It's only worked for some. I could name, Alabama, Ohio State, and even Michigan when they lost to Michigan State. So in that 2021 season, So I mean, there's going to be a lot on the line. I'm excited to watch it. At the end of the day, I think Texas. But we could talk about.
Don't give that away yet.
Yeah, we can.
We're definitely gonna deep dive on it.
We're gonna, but Ohio State plays Western Michigan, same as last week. No sense of urgency. We could talk about that game in a bit, but there is one primetime game that I'm looking forward to, and that is Tennessee versus South Carolina.
No, North Carolina State.
Oh. Okay, yeah.
Unfortunately, that's during our game, though, and that sucks. But thankfully, we got YouTube TV, so we can potentially watch multiple games at one time, although I don't like watching. I like focusing on the Ohio State game, so it really is really ridiculous that Ohio State's playing Western Michigan at 7:30 at night. But that's the kind of college football world we live in, the ever-changing times. Primetime games are at noon. Sleepers are in prime time, what used to be prime time. And it's weird. It's weird. Now, ESPN going to keep the ball rolling, obviously, and try and keep that primetime slot alive. But obviously, Fox has made their mark. And the ratings prove why they're doing it, because they're getting the best ratings every week. So, yeah, it's a little sad because you don't have to wait all day for Ohio State versus Western Michigan. Like, you want to get that boring game over with, that cakewalk, that beatdown over with, and enjoy the rest of your college football Saturday soaking in the games.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm going to be honest, dude. I may be tuning in more to that Tennessee, North Carolina State, seeing that it's a ranked matchup. Yeah, I'll watch the Buckeyes to look for the improvements that I want to see, but I'm not going to be like completely focused on that. And if YouTube TV offers the dual split screen with the North Carolina State and Tennessee versus and the Ohio State Western Michigan game, so be it. But I don't know, man.
You have to let me know, man, because they didn't do it on opening weekend, so I don't expect they'll probably do it this week either. But we'll find out. That'd be ideal for sure. But yeah, let's dive into some of the matchups. Of course, we want to talk about Ohio State, Western Michigan first, and then we'll get to the bigger matchups of the weekend. The Buckeyes and Broncos, man, they're meeting again. They met, I think it was the year after PJ Fleck went undefeated, and he was off in Minnesota. Now, obviously, they crushed Western Michigan, but there's not a lot of juice in this matchup. It's another tune-up. It's another get everything right. But one thing I do want to see, and I think you'll agree with me on this one, is they better freaking start fast this game. They better come out the gate swinging this time.
I was thinking the same thing.
Akron.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking the same thing. I don't want to see this. It's 17-3 by was it 17-3 by
17 to
halftime?
3 at
Yeah.
halftime.
I don't want to see it be 17-3 by halftime, and it's like you're expecting like this, all the hype and everything in the off season,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, like it's the game is slow. This high powered offense that was supposed to, come to light is only putting up 17 points by halftime against Akron.
Mhm.
You know what? I want to see a deep ball first play of the game. Take your shot, Will
Taking a
Howard.
shot,
Take your shot.
going at those MAC level corners.
I did see a quote from Seth McLaughlin, and he
Mhm.
said that they're literally one block thrown scoring a touchdown. So you know what? Let's get those one block. If you're one block away from the running backs springing it for a touchdown, then let's see that one block. Don't quote something and has like, oh my gosh, we're this close. Like, no, make it happen.
And then talk about it.
Make it happen. Don't talk about it. I don't want to. Talk is easy. It's the easiest thing to do in life.
Mhm.
But actually, the doing part is the hardest.
Yeah, the
But
O line still got a lot of room for improvement, man. In my opinion, they were not impressive in week one. They should have mauled
they
the Akron offensive line, and I think our biggest run was like 19 yards by Will Howard. Not even a running back. So
they
that's surprising.
as the game went on, I think they got a little better, but I want to see more as time goes on and we start getting to conference play. And before you know it, we're playing Oregon. So
Yeah. Yeah, they still have a lot of room to improve. They did improve as the game went on, but even still, I didn't see domination up front. I didn't see guys getting blown off the ball, except by that Trevion Henderson block. He absolutely leveled that dude and took his soul. But yeah, the O line's got a lot of room to gel. It looks, from what I'm hearing, Donovan Jackson's not going to be back for the offensive line. So we're going to be another week without one of our starters. But that shouldn't matter in the least bit against a team like Western Michigan and the level of talent that they possess on their squad.
I,
So I want to see you boys mauling another MAC O line or D line, I should say.
yeah. So we're seeing these injuries again.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Donovan Jackson and Cody Simon.
Mm-hmm. Cody
So
Simon's not strapping up
Akari,
again.
what do you mean he's not stepping up?
But he's not playing again this week, from what I gathered
I'm sorry,
today.
that is on Mickey Mariotti. That is like we've had these injuries the last like 3 seasons.
Mainly a wide out, yeah, but all
Yeah,
over.
but I mean the biggest letdown in terms of injuries was when Jackson Smith Njigma was out. He got injured, and then Travion Henderson was injured a good amount of that. The 2022 year.
No, yeah, 22, and honestly, bits of last year too. So
Yeah. So I think that's all on our strength and conditioning coach. Dave may want to look into that. There's no like it just seems like an every week thing. Like there's always like some starter deal. Like I've never seen that, dude. I just haven't.
yeah, one team that was super fortuitous with the injury bug last year was the Michigan Wolverines. They didn't have a single
Oh,
star player go down except for Zach Zinter in the Ohio State game. So other than that, I don't think a single starter missed any action or any time for the Wolverines last year. Buckeyes have not been as fortunate. That's for darn sure. So,
yeah. Yeah,
uh,
definitely.
I mean, do you think? I don't know much about Western's offense, to be completely honest, and I haven't read much about them this week. But do you think a shutout is in order? Or do you think? I mean, do you think Western has a chance to score more than 10 points this game? I mean, this is the kind of thing we're talking about when we're not playing a marquee opponent. We were supposed to play Oregon in the non-con, but then they became a conference member, and so that took away that took away our huge opponent for the non-conference portion of the schedule, and has made this portion of Ohio State's schedule honestly quite the snoozer, and nothing to get too excited about. So, Western, just in general, they don't have a lot being a MAC squad. They're not one of the premier MAC teams either.
So they actually gave Wisconsin a hard time.
Oh, without question.
I forgot I was watching that game. They actually gave them a hard time. I mean, I think at one point, they were tied, and then Wisconsin. It took they ended up winning by 2 touchdowns, but
Yeah.
it was a game for a while. But I think there's a big difference talent wise. I mean, Luke Fickell's a good coach. It just seems like he may have a giant quarterback problem.
Yeah.
But
And honestly, him losing his defensive coordinator was a huge loss as well. Not being able to retain the legendary Wisconsin linebacker that used to be their DC. He still got some things to work out. But yeah, Western Michigan was in that game midway through the third, even late in the third.
Yeah, and I don't see Ohio State having a hard time. The only team that can get in the way of Ohio State for this game is Ohio State.
No
So
question about it.
I expect the same type of ordeal in terms of defense. I think they're gonna pitch a shutout. I mean, if anything, it's gonna be a field goal or 2 field goals at most.
It'd be cool, man. It'd be a cool storyline if we had played 2 games and haven't given up a single touchdown yet. That'd be a lot of fun to kind of have a storyline for the season. And Marshall, they're not much better, so they might not have a chance either in 2 weeks. But yeah, no, man, it's gonna be fun. It's always fun to watch Ohio State, but there are some better games on in that time slot. Tennessee, NC State probably was going to steal some of my attention as well, just because I think that's an intriguing matchup. Their quarterback Yamalava, or however you freaking say it, I still haven't learned how. He's a fascinating player and he's fun to watch. And of course, NC State has been plucky. They were picked to do better last year and didn't perform up to the level. And a lot of people are still picking them to do well this year. It should be an interesting matchup, SEC versus ACC. But yeah, do you have anything else to say on this game before we switch to the biggest Big Ten SEC matchup of the weekend?
Yeah. So what I want to see I didn't really get a state what I want to see more from Ohio State, and totality of just the entire team.
Yeah.
I want to see more deep ball targets from quarterback to a wide receiver. I want to see more production from the offensive line to be able to spring our running backs, be able to take it to the next level. Because I think once Judkins and Henderson make it to the next level, there's really no catching them.
Sure.
I also want if they let Hicks back out on the field, if they do, I want to see him more disciplined. I want him to be able to be patient, read the play, let it develop. Just don't go like 100 miles per hour and be undisciplined. That's his problem. I could see why he's not really starting. I mean, I heard for some reason scouts still love him. I mean, he's a freak athlete. He has a lot of potential, but he's got to play smart football. Saw a lot of good things from our the secondary, so not really much on them. But yeah, and also I want to see the offense come out at 100 miles per hour. Again, I want to see Coach Day get aggressive, go for the deep ball first play, either to Carnell Tate or JJ Smith. I think Ibuka's more of a slot guy, so not really.
Really interesting. Okay, I mean, I might have to pick your brain on that one a little more, but interesting. We'll talk about that another time for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you look at when Marvin Harrison Jr. was wide receiver 1, and then you had Fleming. I mean, I think Buka got a lot of his yards you know, being somewhat in the slot. So
Okay,
honestly, look,
fair enough. Fair
I
enough.
think he can. I mean, even going to the pros, I think he can be more of a. He's going to be more of a slot guy.
Okay,
So,
interesting.
uh, but
Okay.
I want to see the offense just come out swinging and don't look back. Not really worried about the defense. However, I do want to see more from JT Tumaloa. Other than the one sack, there was not much production there. I think we talked about it, but I'm impressed with
Yeah.
what I saw from Jack Sawyer. He literally put the Akron quarterback, out of commission. So, just he's got to keep it rolling. He
Well,
does.
that is the cool thing because the eye test would tell you that Jack Sawyer had the better game. And I think it was clear to us that he did have the better game. But the stat sheet would tell you that JTT had the better game, both from tackles and sacks, 1.5 sacks, And so it's a really cool thing because Jack Sawyer was everywhere. He was disruptive. Now, he had a ton of pressures and he was extremely disruptive and in the quarterback's head. That was very clear and very evident. So I do think he performed better than JTT, even though JTT had better stats. So, the eye test sometimes can fool us, but I don't think it fooled us in the game. Sawyer was everywhere for Ohio State defense on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's going
But
to be fun. But
yeah.
moving on to the next matchup, the Big Ten versus SEC round two. Big Ten took the first one. Who's taking round two, man? Do the Wolverines have a shot after looking pedestrian on offense in week one versus the Bulldogs?
Oh man, I have a lot of thoughts about this game. I thought, I was thinking like it's gonna be close. Like it's gonna be a decided 3-point game, whoever has the ball last. But you know what? After seeing Michigan's offense, it's not gonna matter who has the ball last. The difference is it's not gonna come down to who has the ball last. The difference is gonna be one team has Quinn Ewers and the other team doesn't. And the team that has Quinn Ewers is Texas. And Quinn Ewers is arguably the one of the best quarterbacks in college football.
Certainly.
He's going to be in the first round. He has experience. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, let's look last season. He went into Tuscaloosa and got it done against Alabama by 2 possessions. It's not easy to get a win in Tuscaloosa, as we saw. Like if it ever did happen, it was either by 6 points or the last second. Um, but I think Quinn Ewers is. I mean, he's gonna be clutch. He's gonna be the difference in the game. Yes, Michigan does have an elite defense. Only, I mean, those who don't know ball or just ignorant would not address the fact that Michigan has an elite defense.
Right.
But due to the fact that I don't think that they're going to be able to produce drives. I mean, Texas has the third most production returning in all of college football, and a good amount of that is on defense. And may I remind you guys that Texas was literally one possession away from making the comeback to make it to the national championship. So they also have experience on their side, and Michigan, they only had Colson Loveland was the only starter returning on offense, and let's see, Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, and
That
Will
sounds
Johnson were the only ones returning on defense. So going back, sorry to kind of go down the rabbit hole, but going back to the defense, Michigan does have an elite defense, but they will tire out eventually. And I expect Texas to take over this game by the end of the third quarter. I think that, I mean, and plus Donovan Edwards, I'm here to collect my receipt on this one because Michigan fans on a good amount of shows or comments I made on Facebook or, friends or family, they told me that Donovan Edwards is going to be a good RB1. And look who got most of the carries. Look who did the most production. Khalil Mullings. So I'm here to collect my receipts on that. I've told you this I told everyone this since the TCU Michigan
Both
game.
did.
The TCU Michigan game, that Donovan Edwards is not an RB1 type. He's going to make his bread and butter on third downs, catching the ball out of the backfield, or pretty much it. I mean, he's not a wear and tear back. His yards after contact, 1.5 2 yards. His yards per carry weren't that great either. I think Khalil Mullings had him beat by 4 yards. I think Khalil Mullings got 6 yards per carry, and Donovan Edwards got like 2.5. That's a if we're looking at the long run, that's a big difference. But yeah, just here to collect my receipt on that. He's not what he was put out to be. Yes, he had some nice runs against Ohio State and that one run against TCU and in the Washington game, national championship. But if you go back and look at those plays, the hole, you could drive a truck through that hole that was opened. Other than that, if he doesn't have those type of holes open, he's not going to the second level. He is literally down each time after first contact. So their offense, their offense is lacking. And honestly, like Khalil Mullings is good, but he's not great. He's like a Karan Higdon. I mean, he'll get the job done, but he's not elite. And also the wide receivers, they can't seem to get separation. I wasn't impressed by what I saw.
Yeah.
And Davis Warren, I mean, it's great that he worked his tail off as a walk-on and won the starting job over Alex Orji, who I knew, by the way, was not. I collected my receipt on that. He was not going to make it. I already knew it. I mean, I felt bad. This dude was getting all the hype on the offseason just to be a distraction on the sideline. But I think their offense cost them. I think they cost them this game. Not enough offense, just not clicking yet.
To ignore Michigan's offensive struggles in week one, man, you really have to dig deep and try and find some positives as Michigan fans. And Michigan fans are trying to dig some positives out of the performance. There are not many. You kind of hit on all of them. To be a counterbalance to your take, though, just to be the opposite side of the coin. Texas has lost 2 of the 3 running backs, and Michigan's defensive line is a force. Not only just Grant and Graham, but Josiah Stewart, as well as some others that switch in and switch out. So I have wavered on this game, I must admit. I still am in the camp that I believe Texas gets the victory ultimately. But what if Michigan's elite defense, because they do have an elite defense, what if they make Texas one-dimensional? Which I think is a realistic possibility. Man, if Quinn Ewers' offense can't run the football, that really affects what they can do in the passing game too.
I don't know, man. Like it's Quinn Ewers, dude. Like, yeah, they may not.
Yeah, but they had an elite running game last year.
I mean, but in what conference though? In what conference did they have?
I mean, true. I mean, that's a good point. But their running back got taken, I think, in the first or second round. Like, he was an elite running back. They don't have that this year. C.J. Baxter's out. It gives me a little bit of cause for concern and to pause in this game and not quite just crown Texas getting an easy win. I don't see an easy win happening.
I don't think they're going to get an easy win. I just don't think that I just don't see Michigan keeping up. I mean, they don't have good. I mean, an okay quarterback. I mean, how could you be confident in what you saw at one point going in the fourth quarter? It was 16-10 against Fresno State.
Well, I'm not confident in Michigan's offense in any way, but I am losing confidence quickly in Texas's offense for sure.
What?
I mean, they put up 52 on Colorado State, but Colorado State and Fresno State are the opposite ends of their own conference. Colorado State's one of the bottom dwellers, and
I mean, dude,
we're gonna see what kind of run game Texas has. I hope they can produce.
but
I just don't think they can.
they have Quinn Ewers. They have Quinn Ewers, and
That's important.
they have some good wide receivers. Quinn Ewers is posed. He
I
is
agree.
calm, cool, collective, and he is
Agree.
going to get the job done just like he got the job done in Tuscaloosa. I don't know, man.
Agree.
I don't see, like, when you have a
No,
quarterback when you have a quarterback like that, it's not going to matter about your run game. All right. Now, I'd be scared for Michigan.
interesting.
I'd be scared, dude. I mean, it's like having CJ Stroud and all those elite wide receivers and being like nervous that your run game isn't working. It's like, okay, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's just,
I get what you're saying, but I mean, that is what let us down in the big games, our run game. You know, I'm just being the counterbalance here. I think Texas is going to win, but I think Texas is going to struggle a lot more offensively than I think you do. I think that defense is nasty, and I think Michigan is going to present some problems for Quinn Ewers. I do.
Yeah, Peter, you're right, but their defense is going to tire out. It can't hold that momentum the whole game.
I agree with you. I do agree with you because Michigan's offense isn't going to be on the field long enough, and their defense is going to get extremely worn out. But I must admit, I do really think that probably for the majority of the first half, Texas offense is going to struggle to get points. Touchdowns, I should say. Touchdowns. Finishing drives. Because the field shrinks and that Quinn Ewers passing ability goes out the window, and you have to be able to pound the rock against a team like Michigan, especially with as decent a secondary as they got with Makari Page, Zeke Berry, and Will Johnson and the crew there. So I kind of see it like I do the Michigan Fresno State game, like we predicted, close midway through the third quarter, except I see Texas pulling away this time instead of Michigan pulling away. I think and by pulling away, I mean probably winning by no more than 10 points. But that's kind of my synopsis on the game. I think the most exciting matchup to watch is Texas's offensive line versus Michigan's defensive line, because Texas has some huge, behemoth size offensive linemen that are going to be facing those 335 pounders from Michigan. And it's going to be a fun, epic battle to watch just smash at the line of scrimmage. And two different styles for sure. Texas wants to throw it all over the park. Michigan wants to smash, and they were terrible at it last week. And it's going to be fun to watch these two styles contrast and go at it on the field, because they are very different styles and how they approach the game offensively. But what would you predict for the score potential in this football game? What do you think could come down to here?
Dude, I'm gonna have to say 21-10.
Yeah. Okay. You're not far off what I'm thinking, man. I think 24-13 with a couple field goals. Yeah, for the Wolverines. Texas winning 24-13. I really don't see either team even coming close to the 30-point threshold in this football game. I think, both defenses are very good, and I don't see any scenario on playing out in this game where either team gets above 30. So that's kind of my take on this one. But I'm excited to go down, man. Fox Big Noon kickoff. I'm going to spend most of my time at. I might go on down to game day. It's a little bit further walk from the stadium, actually. It's significantly further. But yeah, I'm going to get on the hubbub, get on the hype, get in the atmosphere, and see what's going on down here in Ann Arbor, and just enjoy the atmosphere of a big game, man. College football, when a big game is coming to town, there ain't nothing like it. So that's what I think is going to transpire in this one. Let's talk about some other games as well. I know you mentioned Tennessee, NC State, and I don't know too much about those programs. I also want to talk Colorado, Nebraska as well.
Oh
But
yeah.
just give me some general thoughts on those games real quick on those two contests, and we'll move on to the next topic.
So you want me to talk about Tennessee, North Carolina State?
Yeah,
I
just
think
briefly.
I think Tennessee gets the job done by 2+ touchdowns. I really like what I saw from Nico. Uh,
Is this game in
and
Knoxville?
yeah, hmm, I don't know. I didn't
I don't
I
know
didn't
either. My bad.
really look too much into it, but I think that Tennessee is an upcoming team. I really like what I saw their freshmen do in the bowl game last season. He's got a lot of promise. So more than likely be a first round pick in the next 2 years.
Certainly.
But I think they get the job done.
It'd be fun. I agree with you. I think Tennessee gets the job done as well. They're an ascending program, and they got a lot going for them right now. The other, the
Well,
big
look out for Noah Rogers. I mean, he could show up for that
Rodgers,
game. Yep, Noah
former
Rogers.
Buckeye
Yep,
transfer
former
with the NC
Buckeye.
State Wolfpack for sure. The other interesting matchup, Colorado switched conferences. Now they're a Big 12 team back again. They used to be. Now they are again taking on their old rival Nebraska. Wow, there's a lot of storylines in this game.
I
Obviously,
hope that
Colorado struggled with North Dakota State, and obviously Dylan Raiola balled out in this first game. Can he
I hope
produce
they
in the
both
second game?
lose. I hope they both lose.
Ooh, you got some hate for Nebraska in your heart?
I don't know, just like what Dylan Raiola did to Ohio State and then Georgia, and just seeing him flip flop every other way. And
Sure.
then how can you like Colorado? I mean, there was a video that emerged of
Yeah.
a brawl in practice between two coaches. I mean,
Wow.
what type of culture are you building over
Wow.
there?
Send me that after we get off. I haven't seen that yet. I'd be highly interested in watching that.
I mean, first you have what is his face, the who's who's the cornerback who transferred and spoke and talked trash about the
Or
program.
Monty McLean.
Yeah, there was rumors of him being threatened by Prime and some players. Um, I mean, what type of culture are you building over there? I
Yeah.
mean, both program. I mean, both programs are not likable programs. Clearly, no one really
Really?
actually wanted to play with Dylan Raiola. Peter, it's not the names. I'm not saying like, oh, I hate Colorado, I hate Nebraska. I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying more like I think Dylan Raiola is a punk. He seems entitled,
Yeah.
and then you got Coach Prime, who is literally overhyped. And I just
There's some big
it,
egos there for sure.
he is continuing to ride his meal ticket, which is Travis Hunter. Without Travis Hunter, like I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be much to say about that program.
I mean, Shador's pretty nice too, but outside of those two, yeah, I fully agree with you.
Yeah.
I fully
So,
agree with you.
and that's what I think the difference is going to be in this Colorado Nebraska game. Travis Hunter is going to be too much.
Yeah, I could see that playing out that way. I'm going to go the opposite, man. I think Nebraska does get it done. I think I
Really?
think Colorado showed that they have elite speed versus a D2 program, FCS program, but um, I think Nebraska makes their first statement of the 2024 season. I truly do. I think Colorado is all hype, no substance, and they got some great players, like you said, Shador, Travis, excellent talent. Terrible team.
They
So
I mean, yeah, if you look at it, they are so lucky that the that North Dakota State's quarterback did not have a
Right.
really good arm,
Strong enough.
because five more yards and we're looking at a different conclusion of that game. So
Exactly.
5 yards short of getting a touchdown at the last second was that difference. So you know what? After remembering, well, actually no, you know what? I'm gonna stick with my claim. I
Yeah.
think Travis Hunter is right now the best player in all of college football. Go look at the stats.
Great.
Three touchdowns, over 100 yards receiving. He always makes some nice plays on defense. So I think he's just going to be too much.
I'm not even going to argue that because I think he's going to be a real problem for the Nebraska secondary.
Yeah. And Horn as well, number
Yeah,
5.
Joe Horn is
Yep.
outrageously fast too. Former NFL Suns wide receiver as well. So yeah, some pedigree there in the Colorado locker room. But my goodness, man, they I think they're headed to another bowl this season, the Colorado Buffs. But maybe I'll be proven wrong. We'll find out. But I think Colorado goes down. But we'll find out. That's gonna be a semi-intriguing game to keep tabs on this weekend. But two teams that are just completely falling off the cliff, man. We talked about it in the college football recap show, but we're going to talk about it again. The Clemson Tigers, complete no shows in the opening week game, just get drubbed 34-3. And then, of course, Florida State drops their second game to lowly Boston College. Now, Bill O'Brien's a great coach, but he doesn't have the talent yet to be beating a team like Florida State, and he did it. And now Florida State, Mike Norvell, has a week off to hide away from the national landscape and the laughingstock that people are proclaiming about his program. But then he has to play his former program, the team he left Florida State for, Memphis, who some are predicting is good enough to make the college football playoff this year as a group of 5 team. They literally could lose to his old program and be 0-3 to start the season. What do you make of the ACC in general, man? But first off, what do you make of Florida State and Clemson's just demise?
Well, I mean, I declared the Clemson dynasty to be over in like 2022, but it's definitely, the Clemson dynasty is dead. Ohio State put them to sleep. They've never been the same after that semifinal playoff game. You know, that really deep ball to Chris Olave. But I mean, we split 2 defenders, and you know the rest is history. But you know, we're not looking at the teams that Dabo used to have. You know, with Deshaun Watson at quarterback, then Trevor Lawrence, the same wide receivers, T. Higgins, Justin Ross. Let's see, DeAndre Hopkins, Sammy Watkins. You don't have the brains of the operation, which is Brent Venables. You don't have I mean, you do have their defenses. Well, I can't really say that after the Georgia game, but you know, they don't have the same like really good coaching. I mean, I'm pretty sure before Brian Hartline, you know, Clemson had the best wide receiver coach in all of college. I mean, look at the recruits he was bringing in. Mike Williams, again, DeAndre Hopkins, Sammy Watkins, T. Higgins, Justin Ross. You got a couple others.
Their white guy, wide receiver, slot guy. I can't think of his name right now, but he was a monster.
Hunter Renfro.
Hunter Renfro.
Yeah.
He was a monster.
And that just proves how good of a coach he was. But they're able to get the quarterback. I mean, Kate Klubnik, but he has no one to throw to. It's not the same. You're not looking at your 2015 to 2020 Clemson Tigers.
Yeah.
You're looking at like the beginning of the Dabo years. And when you're looking at that, I mean, I can see him being fired in the next like 2 years, if that. I mean, I guarantee you the fan base is starting to forget about that 2015 2020 run. He's not even willing to adapt to, I mean, he's still, after everything, he's still not willing to adapt. He's saying, we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. We're gonna get it done. I guarantee you, he's looking at the fact that Harbaugh won the national championship, doing it no way that anybody's done it in quite some time with strictly a power run game in today's modern era of college football, where it's a freaking air raid. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that if he's looking at that, this is what you're getting. Harbaugh played the transfer portal. They use some NIL, but they haven't learned to maximize it yet. But
Right.
I don't know. I think
and they're a little school, so their endowment and NIL is not big to begin with.
Yeah, I think that he's on the way out. He doesn't have any heart anymore. He won't even take calls or questions when he's on his radio show or whatever he's on. He's not taking calls, questions, anything. He doesn't have any heart anymore.
What do you think the difference is, specifically a wide receiver? Because they were getting these elite top 3, top 5 wide receivers out of high school, and now they don't even sniff like 4-star receivers.
I think the difference is NIL. I really do. And they don't have that wide receiver coach anymore. I forgot his name, but I was looking at stats. He was one of the best in the country. So
I believe you. Well, yeah, my thoughts are this about Clemson. I mean, they've really fallen off. Like, there's no question about it. They're not a big boy player anymore. They're back to the Joel drums and little old Clemson, and they're back to Clemsoning in big games. And it's just a fact of the matter that can't be denied. And so it's kind of fun for us Buckeye fans to see, because they inflict a lot of pain on us, obviously. And thankfully, we got the last laugh in the last game back in the playoffs. So that was fun.
Yeah. His name is Jeff Scott, and he was their wide receiver coach the time where they got all those elite wide receivers that Clemson always got. So he was the wide receiver coach. So he was wide receiver coach 2008 to 2014, and he was the co-offensive coordinator, wide receiver coach 2015, 2019. Then he went to South Florida to be the head coach 2020, 2022. So I mean, he
so you didn't make it though?
Yeah, no, he didn't make it. But he had a really good run as a wide receiver coach. But yeah, I mean, if Dabo doesn't solve the transfer portal problem, he's got to start working the transfer portal. Everybody's doing it. You can't. So it was said that they lost a good amount of talent at in the transfer portal, but he didn't bother getting players in the transfer portal. So the amount of leaving is more than bringing in. So,
well, that's certainly one of the key problems and key cogs of why they're losing now. And the other one is they're not getting elite offensive talent. Running backs, wide receivers, just gone. They're not coming to Clemson anymore, because apparently whoever's on staff now that Dabo's got, they're not effective recruiters on the offensive side of the football. And after what we've seen the last 2.5 years on offense, why would anybody want to come play for that offense? Let's just be totally real. Now, switching gears to Florida State a little bit, man, like, how are they 0-2 at this point? Like, defensively, I don't think they've been horrible. But, like, clearly DJ Uiagalelei is not the answer at quarterback, and they are struggling mightily. Travis was awesome last year. Keon Coleman was awesome last year, but they're both gone. And Florida State did not reload.
No, they didn't, and it doesn't. I mean, they really benefited from getting Keon Coleman last season. I mean, that dude was a dog. He's gonna be the go-to guy in Buffalo. Him and Josh Allen are gonna be a really good quarterback wide receiver connection. So look out for that this season in the NFL. But if you look at it's DJ Uiagalelei, or isn't it DJ Uiagalelei?
No, you got it right the first time.
Okay, Uiagalelei. I'll just say DJU. I don't feel like saying that over and over again. All right, but so if you look at his time at Clemson, he came in against Notre Dame. They lost that game.
Balled out though.
Yeah, balled out there. But then I don't know what happened after that. Maybe that's when their wide receiver talent started dropping off. I mean, I think that last that 2020 season was the last they had some good talent at wide receiver. So
yeah, they all graduated, man. They've been a crap show ever since.
Then you just see some deficiencies in his game, some not really being consistent. You get like 3 touchdown, 300 yards guy, then the next game you get like 150 yards or 200 and 1 touchdown and a couple picks. And then all of a sudden I think Dabo just had enough. He's like, okay, we're in the ACC championship game. We're down against North Carolina. You know what? You've had your time to show us some. I think this was in 2022.
Sure.
That this happened, and then Cade Klubnik gets put in, stages a comeback against North Carolina, and then it's Cade Klubnik's job to lose, and then he was at Oregon State last season. What is confusing to me is why didn't he follow John L. Smith to Michigan State?
I mean, he did decently well last year. I wouldn't say elite, but he did decently well in that offense. You would think he would. You really would. It's a baffling thing.
But maybe John L. Smith all along wanted to have Aiden Childs with him. He wanted to bring 8 because if you look at it, I think this is DJU's last season.
Yep.
I think he's gonna. I mean, heck, I don't even know if he's gonna be drafted.
Maybe so.
Maybe late 5th, 6th rounder. I don't know. Maybe not. But what's he really balled out in high school, and he was ranked above CJ Stroud in terms of the recruiting class they were in. And we all know what CJ Stroud and Bryce Young are doing in the NFL, but DJU is with his 3rd team in 5 years?
Yeah. Well, the fact of the matter is, even in high school, he had a talent advantage. At St. John Bosco, the only team that maybe had a better squad than him in the entire state of California was Mater Dei. And, so he had elite weapons all over the field. And he had that in his first year at Clemson.
I remember.
He doesn't have that anymore.
I remember looking at his recruiting profile. They always have the draft. If you're good enough, they always have the draft rankings, and then said future 1st round pick. That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
no way. His game didn't translate to college.
Yeah, I'm completely with you, man. I don't see him going before the 4th round. Someone might take a flyer in the 5th, 6th, or 7th. But it's not it's not common those guys even make rosters. And 2, you're not getting this kind of money that DJU was thinking about getting when he entered the college ranks because, man, I don't know. There's a real chance he'd go undrafted as well. But we'll see what happens. But Florida State, really, they got some serious issues. It definitely goes beyond DJU, but he's definitely a big part of the reason why the Seminoles are struggling under year 3 in Mike Norvell's squad. But, man, I mean, defensively, they look okay to me. They haven't played in elite offenses yet, and so maybe they'll get exposed down the road when they play Miami, Florida, and Cam Ward, or maybe Louisville, Jeff Brown's squad. Maybe they'll get exposed in that game for sure defensively for their deficiencies. But, I mean, they've only given up, I think, 24 points in both games. So I can't point to the defense and say that's the issue just yet. It might be a part of it, but But yeah, man, they really got some things to fix down in Tallahassee, and if they want to be a serious contender again and a serious player under Mike Norvell, they got some things to fix and fix quick.
Yeah. I mean, like, so I was watching that Boston College game. They were giving up some run yards
Okay, so the run defense is a little weak.
The run defense is a little weak. I'm not going to say much about their secondary, but it just seems like they can't really. The big weakness is they can't really get the offense going.
Yeah.
I mean, I would hate. I mean, how much did they spend on DJU in the off season for NIL?
A nice chunk, man. He is highly coveted, even though, because he had a bounce back year at Oregon State.
Yeah, I mean that's cool and all, but I don't get it. I would like to interview John L. Smith, be like, hey, why did you try to get DJU to come with you to Michigan State, or in the back of your mind, was it always going to be Aiden Childs?
I don't know why a reporter hasn't asked that this offseason. I mean, we both live in Michigan. You'd think there would have been a story about that at some point this offseason, but I never read any story about that. That'd be fascinating, man. Or even at Big Ten Media Days. I'd love to hear the story behind that, why Childs followed him and why DJ didn't. So that'd be really interesting, no doubt. But yeah, man, it's crazy. But Florida State and Clemson are not the cream of the crop in the ACC.
Nah.
Like I predicted, man, I'm thinking Louisville, Miami, Florida. There might be other options that emerge in the ACC. I mean, it is kind of a wide open conference, but
they used to be the cream of the crop in the ACC.
Not anymore.
When Jimbo Fisher was there, and the old Dabo Sweeney days.
Sure.
And now it's a whole. The conference is wide open. You know what? I'm gonna give it to Louisville right now. I think Louisville, or you know what? Maybe even Miami. I don't know.
That's who I think emerging. Our boy Rancidity, he commented in a video earlier this week. He thinks Georgia Tech might have a chance to make the ACC championship. And they played really well versus Florida State. We'll see how they can continue, if they can keep that positive momentum going. It is wide open, but I'm sticking with Miami, Florida versus Louisville for my title game.
Doesn't Syracuse play Georgia Tech this weekend?
Syracuse plays the Yellow Jackets. Yeah, absolutely.
Dude. Let's see how Kyle McCord does against an actual defense and not the Ohio Bobcats.
Sure. I'm rooting for the kid. I'm not rooting against him, but we'll see. We'll see how he transpires.
It makes me mad when fans say, "Oh, Ohio State got rid of him too quick." Just like, no, we didn't. The lights were too big. They were way too big, and they're a lot smaller at Syracuse.
Yeah, and he's not facing as good defensive backs in the ACC as he will in the Big Ten. So that's another point. But in all honesty, I hope he does ball out. I hope he does. But it won't prove to me that we got rid of him too soon. That just is not going to enter my mind. I want him to do well because he was a Buckeye, and he gives blood, sweat, and tears. He just wasn't good enough, and it's just that simple. And so, hope he does well. Hope he gets drafted out of Syracuse. But we'll see how that transpires. But that'll be fun, man. But we were talking a little bit in the pregame about what we want to see from the Wolverines and their smash concept. It's been the whole mantra all off season, bro. Smash. Hulk smash. Run game continuing. There's no drop off. We don't care if we just return one starter. We're going to smash everybody. And, bro, it's looking like Speed in Space and Josh Gaddis. It looks like a mantra, and that's it. There's no substance behind the mantra smash for the Wolverine offense, at least thus far. We're going to learn a lot more about them versus Texas.
I think you got to look at what Sherrone Moore has to work with. He doesn't have the same offense that Jim Harbaugh had to work with, which is, a really good offensive line and a really good run game. But it seems like, I don't know. It seems like Sherrone Moore has more speedsters on his team, so maybe he had no
He does.
choice but to switch it up. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to play to your players' strengths and not their weaknesses. And plus, you know what? You got you got to play the part in order to get the part.
Yeah.
So
Like you said, man, they have a lot of deficiencies at the wide receiver position. Samaj Morgan and Morris, they're both fast and quick twitch, but they clearly don't have good
what?
route running abilities at this point. They can't get separation, even though they are fast. Um, they're moving Loveland all around because he's their only offensive threat. They're lining up all over the field on offense. And it's kind of humorous because he's certainly not going to break any big plays. He's a reliable and he's a dominant tight end. He will be a first-round draft pick for the Wolverines. Probably the only one on this offense that will go for in the first round. Maybe Miles Hinton if he improves, but he's got a long way to go at offensive tackle. And so it's fun to watch, man. Like, it's fun to watch Michigan games again, like from a Buckeyes perspective. Like, they're just not elite. And maybe they'll prove me wrong this weekend, but I don't think so.
So who was it? Samaj Morgan who went on his social media and said,
Yeah.
"F Ohio State, F Ryan Dazub," and
Yeah. He said it.
man, what a punk, dude!
He's the one.
What a punk!
He's talking before he ever made a big play in college, man. We'll see. We'll see you come November 30th down the horseshoe, man. See how much talking and yapping you do then.
What was it? Was it Morris or Morgan who had some big plays in the Rose Bowl?
It was Morris. Yeah.
Gotcha.
He had the big long touchdown run on the crossing route. Yeah. Versus the Tide. Yep.
Yeah.
Not Morgan, so he hasn't earned any right to talk yet. But I'll tell you one thing, man. Mullins is the guy running back one. We all agree on that. We both agree on that. And I truly think that at some point this year, Edwards is going to be lined up outside because they've given up on the Donovan Edwards experience at running back. And they're going to try and get creative and find ways to give him the ball. And I think they might have some success doing that. But it won't be at the tailback position for Donovan Edwards. He's just not that dude. And I don't ever see that succeeding in this itinerant for the Michigan offense, in this version of it. I think they're going downhill. And honestly, they're probably not going to be a top 50 offense this season, come season's end. Statistically in points or yards or any meaningful offensive statistic.
Yeah. I mean, I saw this, man. I'm not surprised at all.
Yep. That's a great thing to see too.
One bit.
It's glorious.
I mean, I think you don't want to wish on a player's downfall or anything. You know, it's just
on the field, yeah. Injuries, no. I'm not ever wishing for that. But yeah, I definitely wish on Michigan players' downfalls for sure. On the field only.
And not only that, but Edwards was very wishy-washy about the recruiting process. I mean, he had no right to be mad at Ohio State when he was taking a sweet time with his the recruitment process.
Mm-hmm.
He had, you know what? If Ohio State said we want you really want to go there that bad, then commit to them. Do it.
They make it no. Yeah, that commitment was over when his head coach took the job in Michigan. In my mind, I think there was just some clicks being added and trying to waste Ohio State staff's time because it was clear where he was going, in my opinion.
Well, no, he was actually interviewed at a Michigan golf outing about his recruitment process with Ohio State, and he said, yeah, they told me that I was on the top of their list, and before you know it, they took Evan Pryor. And I'm like, okay, you know what? They're taking two. They only took one. And then they took Travion Henderson. I'm like, okay, this is the only time, other time I'm going to swear on this, but I'm going to kick their ass. He did in 2022, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure he was offered by Ohio State, and like I don't know, like I don't know why
Yeah.
he didn't
Yeah, no,
he didn't
I
commit.
guarantee you it was a committable offer. Like I don't question that one bit, not one bit. But when the state playoffs were over and the head coach signed within like a week with the Michigan staff, to me that recruitment was over. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, man, we'll see if he produces. Can he beat Big Game Edwards on Saturday, or is he going to just be another schlub back there at the running back position for the Wolverines? So we're going to find out, man. He got a lot of people questioning him. Even Michigan fans this week are questioning him and calling him out. Not ready. Not everybody's ready to give up, but I think a lot of people I've seen on comments are ready to acknowledge that Khalil Mullins is RB1 for the Wolverines this year, and there's no question about it. So
Uh-huh.
now, Sam Webb, of course, driving in my morning commute, he's talking his boy Edwards up for sure, but he's a positive, sunshine blower for the Wolverine program. Always has and
Oh yeah,
always will be. So,
the biggest sunshine blower for the
oh
Wolverines.
yeah, man, he's been on radio for as long as I can remember, man. Even in the late '90s, early 2000s, I would hear Sam Webb on the radio pushing pushing the most beautiful picture of his Michigan Wolverines, even as they're 7-4 entering an Ohio State game. They he always put a positive spin on it. And I guess
Yeah.
if that's your cup of tea, go for it, man. But as a reliable source, he's just not that it. Now, when he says, "I have a gut feeling," that's when you can trust his words, and that's the only time you can trust his words. When he gives those cold words, "I got a gut feeling," that means he knows exactly what a recruit's going to do, and it's either positive or negative for the Wolverines. But other than that, he's a sunshine blower. Most programs have him, but I don't prefer to listen to that.
Yeah.
For my high state input, I want to hear some realism. I want to hear some positives, yes, but also some criticisms too. And what
Yeah.
can we get better at? So
Yeah. But sticking on Sharon Moore, he has not been offered. He's not even
yeah,
under a contract. This
what's up
dude
with that?
this dude is coaching Michigan football. He doesn't have a contract.
How's that possible, man?
I mean, I think due to the pretty sure it's due to the investigation, the ongoing investigation of Signgate that's going on, that he's not beginning this
Ooh,
contract. So
hmm,
if he was suspended a game for beginning of the season, last season, and he's being named as a possible repeat offender. Repeat offenders, good amount of times they get fired, don't they?
almost every time, yeah, absolutely. So
And it just seems like he's guilty in terms of Sidegate deleting 52 text message between him and Connor Stallions. He said, "Oh, I hope they delete. I hope they release the text messages. I
yeah,
would love to see them do that."
yeah,
Then why did you delete them in the first place? If
right.
you didn't want them to, all of a sudden, so if you wanted them to see them, then you wouldn't have deleted them. But all of a sudden, you're saying, "Oh, release them. I want people to see it." But we all know that's BS. I'm sorry, but Sharon Moore is guilty. Uh, he'll be crying harder than he did after they beat Penn State, when he if he does get fired, whatever hefty punishment they get from this, I'm pretty sure he'll be at the top of the list of people who get the worst punishment. Again, repeat offender. All right.
Very
And if
possible.
if you didn't tune into this, if you didn't tune into what's going on with Michigan, there the NCAA has named Michigan a culture of non-compliance,
Right.
and in other words, disrespect. All right. So we're going from, oh, Michigan is a culture of, team building, the team, and they have a strong culture, and just like, okay, then what's going on with this? Why are we hearing a culture of non-compliance
Yeah.
and arrogance? So It's not every program is what it seems. That's all I'm gonna say. But okay, a
Yeah.
little late, but Texas is going to Donkey Kong smash Michigan. Rand City, I think that they are going to win 21-10. The defense is gonna put up a fight pretty much through the third, and then they're gonna get tired, and it's gonna show. Texas is gonna start pulling away, not by much, but they're gonna start pulling away.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, man. If you have the time, obviously go back and watch us talk. Sorry about that. Talk about the Michigan Texas game earlier in this show. Where I have them losing 24-13. The Wolverines losing. Texas prevailing in the Big House. Can't wait to go downtown, man, and get involved in the pregame shows and atmospheres that are going to be here in Ann Arbor. But wow, he's going big time, 35-10. Now, we were wrong. Both of us knew that Clemson would lose big, but you almost nailed the score prediction earlier this year for Clemson, Georgia last weekend, Rand City. And we were a little off. We knew Clemson would not be competitive, but you were really close on that score prediction. So props to you. Now, if that happens 35-10, I'm going to be the biggest celebration. My house is going to get egged, man. Like, I'll be celebrating so loud. And so it's just one of those things. Like, if that happens, man, I will be overjoyed. I hope it does. I just don't see it happening that way. But
I think the difference is going to be Quinn Ewers. If you go all the way back to the 2022 season, his first start he had against Alabama. If he does not get injured that game, they beat Alabama 2 years in a row.
Yep.
All right.
It's true. The man's got poise. But it's going to be a fun one to watch, man. There's a couple good games to keep tabs on, too. I'd love to hear your opinion on Tennessee, NC State, Rand City before we jump off here. But
one more thing. I want to do a team of the week that I was completely surprised by, and you probably know what team I'm about to name. I hope you do.
Go for it.
It was the only primetime game on Sunday night. It was the LSU Tigers versus the USC Fight On Trojans.
Man alive.
And you know what? They really showed up. They got USC really surprised me. They clicked on offense. Yeah. Their defense looked a lot better. Not great, but a lot better. Actually flying around, doing actual tackling, making plays. Miller Moss outperformed the LSU quarterback.
Nussmeier,
Yep, Nussmeier. So kudos to USC. But let's see how LSU does the rest of the season. Let's see how USC does the rest of the season. Is LSU actually a good team, or are they just not put out to be what they were last season? Are they really going to feel the loss of Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, and who was the other guy?
Hyde Edwards-Helaire, maybe?
No, dude. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was 2019, man. That was the Joe Burrow season. So, I forgot the other wide receiver's name, but I think that they may feel the loss of that this season. But
yeah, man.
Really, you know what? Zachariah Branch possibly could end up being, besides Travis Hunter, the most electric player in all of college football.
He's an awful lot of fun to watch, man. They got number 4, their running back. They've used him in a lot of fun ways. And their offense, but that's the thing. USC is always good offensively. They've never had a problem on that side of the ball. But they stepped up on the defensive side of the ball this time. Now, granted, they still gave up over 400 yards of offense, but that's kind of modern-day college football sometimes, so I need to see more from USC, but, man, they shocked my socks off me. I didn't pick them to win this game. And I don't predict LSU to have a good season either, and I still predict USC to lose. So that really tells you what I thought of USC previously. They really did impress me, man, and they showed out and they balled out. When they come to Michigan on September 28th, That could be a fun contest to watch, man, because it's USC's offense versus Michigan's elite defense. And we'll see USC's improved defense versus Michigan's terrible offense. And so we'll see how that plays out here in a couple other weeks. But yeah, that's going to do it for us tonight. We appreciate everybody joining in. Thanks so much. We will be back for a recap on Sunday of all the week's college football action to recap you not only the Ohio State game, but all the big storylines across the nation and what went down and how things transpired on the football field.
Are we, so if we're going live,
No, not live.
Okay, we'll just do a video then. Yeah, we won't go live then.
Yeah.
I was about to say, dude, we'll be competing with people who watch the NFL. So,
I mean, that's fine. We're a college football channel, so no, that's fine.
Yeah, but all right, man.
We'll see you guys on the next one. Take care now.
Yep.